My name is Cindy Cisneros, licensed therapist and certified creativity coach, creativity expert, and owner of Creatively LLC. And this is a video to go with my latest blog and my newsletter on creative therapy. And this week's article is about embracing your creative personality. And I want to talk a little bit about understanding what I mean by a creative personality. And we're going to talk about it within the framework of opposites. There's lots of different ways that I could talk about it, but I really like to talk about creativity in general in this framework of dualities. So I want to kind of mirror that by talking about our creative personality in the same way. So to start off, let's talk about creativity as a personality, because I think usually when we talk about it, we're talking about creativity as skill, talent, external force. But I am talking about creativity more often than not when you see me talking about creativity as a particular type of being, not so much as skills to be developed. I'm talking about who we are, psychological and emotional landscape, how you see, feel, and engage with the world. I really like that as a definition for creativity. So it's not just about learning new techniques, it's about understanding and embracing the unique traits that come with a creative mind. So we're going to look at the personality of creativity so that we can understand who you are as a creative person, why you might think differently, the challenges you might face, and how you can harness your unique gifts so you can thrive in your work and personal lives as a creative person. I think it's important to think about also healing and mental health, and that's kind of my lens from a creative perspective, because when you recognize creativity as an inherent part of your identity, then you start looking at emotional struggles, experiences, and strengths in a different way that you can allow for greater self-compassion, acceptance of yourself, and that in turn allows you to feel more empowered about your life experiences and what to do from there. Now, creative people, their personality, your personality, if I'm speaking to you, is deeply intertwined with your emotional experiences. You feel your emotions more intensely. You have a rich inner landscape and find meaning in expressing that. But this heightened sensitivity can also make you more susceptible to things like self-doubt, perfectionism, and burnout, which can also impact your well-being. So when you recognize and understanding these parts of your creative personality, then you can help navigate them better without losing the essence of your creative personality itself. And this is going to overall offer you a more holistic way of approaching your life when you understand creativity as a part of who you are rather than just something that you do. So we're going to embrace and understand as we move forward in this article, and really when we move forward with the work that I do in general, with creative personality in both personal and therapeutic contexts. And you may see in some of my work, my written work, and on my website, that we're working on building a life that nurtures something I call creative vitality. And there's more about that if you're interested on my website called the Creative Vitality Theory, and that's creativelyllc.com. Okay, I said we were talking about opposing forces as our framework today. Let's talk about creativity as a dualistic force. And I've written on this topic before, and I'm not the first one. Creativity is often seen as mysterious or magical force that flows through people, sparking ideas and innovation. But at its core, creativity is a dualistic and dynamic process. And what I mean by that is it's the space between opposing forces. For example, the space between structure and spontaneity, or the space between discipline and freedom, or the space between logic and intuition. It's neither purely one nor the other, but the interplay of both. And so, this tension, this duality, is what makes creativity so powerful. And its relationship to your creative personality, which is what we're going to move into, is how this creative duality is related to your creative personality, is what makes your creative personality so complex and difficult to navigate. Because unlike conventional ways of thinking that may seek clarity and singularity, creativity naturally embraces contradiction. It requires a person to hold multiple perspectives at once, be comfortable with ambiguity, and to move fluidly between extremes. So, if we think about creativity as built upon duality, so too is your creative personality. We embody, as creative people, seemingly opposite traits. And this may be something that you have struggled to understand in yourself. How can I be both an introvert and an extrovert? For example, that's a common one that I see a lot. And this article goes through several. How can I be simultaneously playful and serious? Well, who you are as a creative person holds space between paradoxes in the same way that creativity is the space between these dualities. They're not flaws, but they're the essence of creativity at work within a person. So, as you begin to understand creativity through the lens of these paradoxes, you get a clearer framework of recognizing and supporting your creative personality, that these are not contradictions or obstacles, but natural strengths that we can all thrive upon in a balanced way as creative people. So the article moves on, and this is kind of more of the cerebral stuff that I talk about when I talk to people about creativity. But this article goes on to talk about these forces of contradiction and what some examples of them are, and a list of 10 paradoxical creativity traits that are common within creative people. So that's to say, extremes of these, you may feel pulled to both as a creative person, but that is common to you as a creative person, feeling that tension between both. And your healthy space, while fluctuating is common for you, your healthy space is a rest space somewhere in the middle at times. So, for example, and I'm not going to go through 10, but I'll go through the first one with you. And if you want to see all 10 of these, please check out the article, which is close to, or a link to it is close to, wherever you found this video. Boundless energy and deep rest is one of these paradoxes creative people can often have. And they come to me in mental health for this reason. What's wrong with me? But I want you to understand, while certainly examples of this clinically do exist, it can also be a natural part creatively of who you are. Creative people can display bursts of high energy and intense focus. You can work very intensely focused on something for extended periods of time, high energy periods, but you can also require deep rest and recovery afterwards. And I can give you an example from my own life because this recently just happened, and it's going to look different all the time for you, and it's going to look different all the time for everybody. And the important part is to know yourself. So here's an example from me. Yesterday, I painted an entire room in my home. This is the wall behind me that I painted. I emptied out the entire room. I painted the entire room. We had a new piece of furniture brought in today. I brought all the furniture back in and I redecorated. And now today I am resting. I am writing, I'm recording video, I'm checking email, I'm doing sedentary things. I need to recharge. It's raining and gray outside. My energy is low today. Now, it's not a deep rest, but that's a high and a low energy period. That's an example of that fluctuation and that tension that moves me creatively in my life. So, understanding this cycle is crucial because you may feel like I cannot have a low energy day ever. I must always run on high. I must put the same amount of intense energy into every day, and then you're at risk of burnout. if you don't allow for that rest. But learning to embrace and schedule active and restorative periods by knowing yourself as a creative person can help sustain you in the long run. And now that's one of 10 examples that I go through in the article. So please do feel free to look at them if you want to know more. And if you feel like looking at these resonate with you, and you could use help supporting yourself and navigating these in your life, or if you try and you feel stuck, or if you're feeling overwhelmed by your emotions, or if you're feeling restless, I would be happy to offer you a free discovery call to help you understand where things may be going awry or what support may be useful to you. There is a way to reach me in a button somewhere close by to where you found this video, but you're also free to email me at questions.creativelyllc.com or through my website at www.creativelyllc.com. Thank you for joining me for this video today. Stay creative. Bye bye.